What's up, everyone, and welcome to Shared Save the Game Media's weekly gaming discussion podcast. I am your host, Kevin, and on today's episode, we're recapping that Xbox partner preview and talking all about the Game Awards, all the nominees, who we think are going to win each and every category, and some spicy conversations we need to have about some of these games. But before we get to that and more, got to introduce my co-host. Coming in hot today, Sam Heaney. How are you, my friend?
Slightly out of breath, but I made it.
Were you running here?
That's right. Yeah, fully. Just jorking it, exercising. I think that has a
Okay.
different meaning.
Yeah.
Take what you will. No, I just had to sort some stuff out, and I managed to make it in time. So I'm doing good. Been pretty busy past couple of days, but all is well. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. It's feeling like winter here.
It's freezing
Now,
here.
and I know this because my skin is cracking. You can see my knuckles starting to bleed. Really love finding that out when you're like washing your hands, or the best part, hand sanitizer, and then you just what, and then you just see cracks everywhere. So then I go lotion, but then like I have to wash my hands again. I feel like I just get the lotion all out. I don't like it. So that is my big annoyance about the cold, is my cracked skin.
Fair.
Yeah. Other than that, doing very well. Obviously, we are going into Thanksgiving week here in the United States. Anyway,
What is this Thanksgiving you speak of?
something about Native Americans and
Oh yeah,
pilgrims.
who cares? Yeah, whatever.
And I think measles.
Right. Yes.
Smallpox. Actually, sorry. No, but so we're gonna have a long weekend, and then obviously we're gonna do our show Wednesday next week, everyone, to accommodate for Thanksgiving, since I will be engorged with food and probably sleeping at 7, taking a little nap, as I tend to do after dinner on these holidays. You get that in the, I don't know, listen, other countries, I don't know if they indulge themselves as much as Americans on holidays, but we just eat until we can't move, and then we kind of pass out.
I mean, I think that is a problem here as well, because we should label it as a problem, call it what it is. But I don't think it's as prevalent,
We're just predisposed to it.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Well, let's get into the show proper then. This is Shared Save. If you want to catch us live, we are right here on youtube.com/SaveTheGameMedia every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. If you can't catch us live, we post every Sunday on your favorite audio platform of choice. While you're over there, please drop us those reviews on audio platforms. It does help us greatly. If you want to support us even further, get early audio access to our podcasts and exclusive content like my monthly Q&A and our exclusive Shared Save episode, head over to patreon.com/SaveTheGameMedia. Choose a tier that's right for you, like our current supporters. So thank you to Sam Hall, Alpaca Tom, Rick Davis, Silkenit, Dave Harp, David Harwright, Lillian, Marcus O'Neill, Brendan Myers, aka The Winter Gamer, Nikolai Knight, Fabulous Brianna, Brandon, and Black Wyver. Thank you all for your support. We appreciate each and every one of you. Sam, let's jump right into it, because we actually have a packed show this week, a lot to get through. So what have you been playing, speaking of things that are packed?
Holy hell.
This list is crazy. Tell me about the Outer Worlds 2.
Yeah, if people didn't know I was playing it, I am done. I'm done. I am done. It's gone. Deleted from my PlayStation 5. So finished that, abandoned it. I actually got closer to the platinum than I thought, but I don't care. And that's saying something. So moving on from that, thankfully, I have also finished. Now that I finished that, I've sort of just gone into burner mode. I'm back into the Sam going crazy. I mean, I play a fair amount of stuff anyway, but I finished Root Trees Are Dead with my dad. That was great. Excellent little puzzle game for people that like those kind of things. I then, over the past day or so, played through both Thank Goodness You're Here and Still Wakes the Deep, both of which were added to the PlayStation Plus catalog. Very short games, both of those. Easy platinums.
Had you played Thank Goodness You're Here before?
Yeah, I'd played both of them before.
Oh, okay.
On PC. I think I got both of them for free at certain points on Epic or whatever. Or it might have been like a Amazon Prime Twitch.
Yeah, I don't
Mm,
have any of those for free, so I don't know how you would have managed that.
I'm just better than you, Kev, at
It's
getting.
different games, I guess, in the UK.
Uh, and yeah, I really liked both of them anyway. So play through them again and actually get the platinums for both, which again very simple to do. So that was a good 8 hours, I think, across both of them, most of which went to Still Wakes the Deep. Thank goodness
Mhm.
it was like an hour and a half at most.
Is it
So
really that short?
yep.
Oh wow. Okay, I'm definitely bummed because I've heard people either really like the humor in that game or they don't think it's funny at all and it's like a kind of a slog. But I knowing it's that short, like I can commit to that.
It's just stupid, you know. It's like inherent, very dry British humor. And I get that some people won't like that, but of course, if you couldn't tell, I'm British, so
What?
right up my street. What else have I been playing? I played more Luminous Arise, not much else to say about that other than, you know, it's still excellent. Still playing through 1,000 Times Resist, chipping through chapters as we go.
A madman.
I think I'm chapter 7 or 8 now, I think. Um, and then the two may well, actually, no, actually, okay. Kev, we have 3 left.
Mhm.
It's the last 3 on my list.
Yeah, yeah. These are
Ye
this is the meat of the
Sure,
conversation.
which one would you like me to tackle first? Because I have things to say.
Let's start with let's go backwards. You see the order
Okay.
there listed? Let's go
Yep, yep.
end of the yeah, yeah.
So, conveniently, one of the things we'll be talking about today is obviously the Xbox Partner Preview. I jumped on something right off of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I downloaded and booted up the Reanimal demo, and played through that new game from Tarsier, of course, Little Nightmares. Um, it's very Little Nightmares coded,
Yeah.
you know. I think it's going to be right up the alley for people that like those games. I'm not a massive fan of them, but I played through and enjoyed both of them. I like, at least from what I remember, that this demo seems to suggest it's going to be slightly more open than those other games were,
Mm.
slightly more areas to explore as you're making your way through. But the vibes, immaculate, sound design, excellent, played with headphones. And yeah, it's disgusting. You know, there's some stuff going on in there.
I so like whenever I see this game, I'm like, this really just looks like Little Nightmares 3 to me. And by all accounts, like I assume it's going to be better than actual Little Nightmares 3, just because it is the devs and 1 and 2 have scored better than 3. So I think they just have I don't know, I don't want to say like a better quality than Supermassive does, but I think they get the gameplay maybe more than Supermassive did coming into a franchise. I tried 1 and I just could not get into it.
Hmm.
I thought it was like clunky, and I didn't particularly find it scary. Maybe it's like it's probably just not for me because I know there are people out there that absolutely love these games, and this one's like co-op, right? So like get you and someone else involved.
Yeah, you can play it solo. I played it solo.
Mhm.
And the other character is just AI, you know, very
Oh,
competent. It didn't bug out. I wasn't waiting for it to do things. It was doing all the things that it needed to. And you can command it when you're playing solo as well to tell it to do specific things. Um, yeah, I mean, I would agree that none of them are scary necessarily. It is more of like a creepy inside atmosphere kind of thing as opposed to outright horror.
hmm,
I can understand if you're slightly less temperate to horror, you might get spooked, I guess.
yeah.
But yeah, it is. It's just sort of gross and creepy, which I don't know if I'm going to jump in like when the full game comes out straight away, but it will be
Well,
something I get
certainly,
to eventually.
certainly not in the release date that they've chosen. I
It's not
don't think.
crowded at all in February, I
No, no,
think.
no,
No,
no.
no,
Yeah,
no.
absolutely, absolutely not. You know what it is the way you're talking. It's disgusting, and I don't know if that horror really vibes with like body horror, right? Like I don't know if that really vibes with me because I'm thinking like Barbarian didn't do it for me as a movie, and I'm thinking like I tried playing Silent Hill 2, and that is very like I want to like it's psychological horror, but the enemies are very body horror, like they're supposed to be disgusting, and like that just doesn't appeal to me at all.
Aren't you a saw guy though? Isn't that just body
That's
horror
just
technically?
humans. No, I wouldn't describe that as body horror because those are like they're not like messed up looking. Like
I
they just look like
guess.
normal people. Like when I think body horror, I think like disfigured like creatures
Sure.
that are like
Okay.
humanoids.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, put it this way: if you didn't vibe with Little Nightmares, I don't think you're going to vibe with this. So
Yeah.
it is essentially Little Nightmares 3. You sort of hit the nail on the head. So, but it was a good time. Took me about just under half an hour to finish. Gave me a decent bit to play. A fair few
Hmm.
different mechanics. Um, and yeah, I will be interested to see how it does and how long it is as well, whether it is a longer experience or it's shorter in line with the other Little Nightmares. So good time, good bit of fun. You know what's not good fun, Kev?
um,
I had to. I was morbidly curious.
I assume you got Game Pass
I
for
did.
this. Yes.
I
Okay.
did. And then immediately cancelled it and got refunded. Um, I had to because of the clips I was seeing and my reverence for Black Ops in general, even though I'm not really a Call of Duty guy, I haven't been for a long time. I played through the Black Ops 7 campaign.
Played the
I
whole thing, huh?
Yep, don't care about the multiplayer, don't care about the zombies. But you know the Han Solo meme of like it's true, all of it. You
Hmm.
know it
Yeah.
it's true, all of it.
Everything you've heard.
It's yeah, it is truly that bad.
That is not surprising because I've watched quite a few clips of the game and it does seem that it's kind of like it almost feels like they didn't want to make Call of Duty, but then
Mm.
they like were like, all right, we'll give it like a weird psychedelic story, but also like it is still just Call of Duty at the end of the day, so it doesn't really work.
Well,
But
and on top of that, it what it's done is, and I know that there have been examples of this in prior Call of Duties. They have bled so much of the Warzone multiplayer and zombies experience into
mhm,
the campaign that it it compromises it. Like there are loot drops. You can upgrade your weapon like Pack a Punch in the campaign. Obviously, you've seen the clips of like you're fighting a giant Michael Rooker. You are, fighting alongside good good guy zombies at one point, and it's like that you're hitting Menendez with giant flying machetes as kill streaks that you're earning. All the enemies have health bars. There's like raid bosses. I think that they have manipulated the campaign to try and make it appealing to both zombies and Warzone slash multiplayer players. And at that point, you've just made an inferior product that people that like multiplayer and Warzone would just prefer to play multiplayer and Warzone, and it's
mhm.
not as good as zombies. So, and the worst part, again, as someone who reveres, early Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, even Black Ops 3 to a extent, but certainly the first two, um, it's just like sullying the best Call of Duty franchise, I guess, if you want to frame it that way. It's really kind of sad, depressing.
Yeah, I know there are people out there that are enjoying the multiplayer experience
Sure.
and like the campaign doesn't appeal to them. I know David Burdett over at
Hmm.
Game Trend and who's been our Discord chatting about it. He really likes Black Ops 7 as like a package,
Yeah,
but he recognizes the campaign's faults. But that's not what he goes to Call of Duty for. So I think there is something in the game for like COD players.
of
I just
course.
it doesn't seem like the campaign because I think what is that on like has like a 1.9 user rating or something I saw.
Yeah.
It's very low and I'm not surprised cuz one of the clips I saw I didn't even know it was Call of Duty at first cuz it was like as you were saying a giant like human. It was like is this like a Marvel movie? Like what's going on? Like a really bad Marvel movie at that. But I couldn't in my mind figure out how we got to the situation they were they were in it all. And
Yeah.
some of the dialogue, I'm like, ooh, this is rough.
You can't pause because it's always online. You get
Yeah,
booted
strange
out if there's a
choices.
patch,
I
and
did.
like and also talking about like AI in Reanimal, it's a co-op campaign, so you can play with up to 3 friends.
Mhm.
But if you're playing solo, you don't have AI companions. You're just by yourself. So like all the guys, like the squad is in cutscenes, and then as soon as you get back into gameplay, it's just you and your Todd. It's like literally every other Call of Duty I've played has had
Mhm.
AI squad mates. Like, why would you not put them in? It's bizarre.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Call of Duty maybe needs a year off. They're not going to do that, obviously, because there's always 2 Call of Duties in production at any given time. So it is what it is. We'll see if the next one comes out. Like they should definitely take a break from Black Ops for a little bit.
Yeah.
I assume Modern Warfare would be up next, going back to that. But like
Next year it's Black Ops 8, everybody.
no, we kind of need a chill on this.
Yeah, agreed. It's feeling less and less like Treyarch, because Treyarch are like the crown jewel
Yeah,
of
they were
Call of
always my
Duty.
favorite.
They always have, yeah, they always have been, and this just it feels like it was made by a completely different team, and that's again just sad because, like you said, it almost feels like they're doing it, unwillingly. They're just sort of like resigning themselves to doing it. It's like, well, we kind of have to put a campaign in here, so we'll just chuck some BS in and see what happens. Didn't enjoy my time.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
Finally, though, I have been playing. I'm about 4 hours in.
Mm-hmm.
Possessors
Let's go.
from Heart Machine. Prerequisite: I'm not a massive fan of Hyperlight Breaker, but I love Solar Ash, and I know that that is the inverse of
Yeah, I
the
was gonna say
typical opinion.
most people feel weird about that, but
And that's not to say that I don't like Hyperlight Breaker, but it just, in the same way that something like Bastion, or what's the Supergiant game?
Pyre?
No, the one after, the one with the sword is like, it'll come to me. It'll come to me. They don't really gel with me, but then the sort of 3D nice movement of Solar Ash, that is something, as a pathless freak and things like that, that really vibed with me. Possessors, it's a 2D, 2.5D, I guess, Metroidvania. Got sent a code, so thank you for the code. I am having a good time. I don't know that I love it. I think, common consensus is that it's a bit hit and miss, and I would likely agree with that. In the time that I've spent with it thus far, it has good feeling combat and movement. I think the traversal is pretty good. Quite basic, but it feels good to do. And I think that the enemy design is very interesting. I love the visual presentation in terms of the like cinematics. The art style in general is very compelling. Caveat that, though, the environments that I've experienced thus far are quite devoid of sort of color and style. It's a lot of just sort of drab, ruined buildings and things. So I'm, again, relatively early, so I would hope that it evolves slightly and the environment varies. But time will tell with that. The thing that really is kicking the experience down a notch for me currently is there's like almost no music
It's just
at all.
silence while you're playing.
Yeah, there's like very, very little background music. And I did reload the game a couple of times just to make sure that it wasn't like bugged or something. And they do have some orchestral stuff that's sort of orchestrates specific moments when you reach areas of the environment, and there's a big backdrop, something in the distance, and there's some dialogue which is refreshing. I like that, following on from Solar Ash. Um, but yeah, it's just sort of very mute. It's especially because it's a Metroidvania, so you're sort of running back and forth and doing backtracking, and
I was just gonna
oh, I
ask you
just
what type
unlocked
of
this
game this
thing.
was because I'm not even like I know Devolver reached out, gave us the code. I was like, I've heard you talk about this. I'll head it your way. You're much better hands than mine. But I had no idea what this game even was. So I was like, okay, it's a Metroidvania. So you're seeing these environments over and over again.
Yeah, there hasn't been too much backtracking comparative to other Metroidvanias, but again, I don't know whether it will lead me to new environments as I go further
Hmm.
in, or I will just have to more comprehensively explore the environment I've already been in. Um, but yeah, it's bizarre because the not only is the music relatively um, absent, but also the enemy placement feels a little bit off in the sense that very different, so it's hard for me to compare it. But I look at something that left a big impression on me, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown as a
Hmm.
Metroidvania. Not only did you have obviously music playing whilst you were just casually free roaming, exploring, and in combat, but you also couldn't really go 30 seconds, a minute tops without running into a new little set of enemies or um, something to do, and that just isn't really the case here. There is a lot of empty negative space, which wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't completely devoid of the music, because then you could have atmosphere building and stuff, and it doesn't have that.
Is the space filled with like platforming challenges or like because I'm thinking what you're saying, the devoid of enemies and stuff. I don't know if you've played it, but Disney Illusion Island, the Mickey Mouse
Sure.
Metroidvania. There's no combat, traditional combat in that game, really, right? But like most of it is just like it's a Metroidvania, but a lot of the time you're just gonna jump over maybe one enemy, then you'll go a while and like it'll have platforming sections in between, or like oh you'll use your glider and like go up, or Goofy will ride his muster, whatever. Like they'll have things like that to try to keep you engaged. Obviously, very different audience than what Possessors is going for, but I'm just thinking like are they taking that kind of approach to it?
Um, Not really.
Okay.
Um, I don't want to speak definitively on it because again,
Hmm.
I'm sure there are abilities that I haven't unlocked and things that I haven't quite figured out how to do. But and that's not to say there aren't any, because of course there are plenty of things you can do as you're going around. But similar to the enemy placement, they sort of feel comparatively sparse to most other Metroidvanias that I've played. It sort of feels like in this room you can, there's a grapple point that you can use your whip to swing across, but there's not really much of anything else. Like you could, if you wanted to, swing on the whip and not jump off, but then let it sort of reach the full arc and then flip back onto the platform that your whip is attaching to.
Hmm.
But there's not anything there, you know?
Oh, okay, cool.
So you can be a little bit expressive with the platforming, but at least from what I found thus far, there's
Doesn't
not really
reward
any
you.
reward for
Yeah.
that or no alternate routes or anything like that. It is very
That would drive me
it
nuts,
feels
by the
very
way.
linear for a Metroidvania.
Yeah, that would drive me nuts because there's nothing I love when I'm like, okay, that's the way to go to progress the
Mhm.
story over there. I'm always gonna go the opposite way and see if I can like break the game or like get somewhere I'm not supposed to be. And like you should be rewarded for that. There should be something over there. And the fact that there isn't is I mean, might come down to budget. I don't know, but it makes me okay. Well, I guess I'm just not gonna do that going forward.
Yeah. And there are some areas that I found where you are very clearly meant to be going this way, but you can go up and over, but you won't really find anything there. Or if you do find something there, it will be something that is sealed off because you don't have the requisite
Mm-hmm.
ability. This isn't a rule of thumb, but a lot of other Metroidvanias I've played, you can go up to that alternate place, and there will be something for you to find, even if you don't have the ability to progress past that point. But there's not like currency or collectibles. I mean, there's currency in the game, obviously, but you don't find currency lying around really. So yeah, I I don't mean this as harshly as it will sound. It feels almost like it's in like a alpha or beta state where like it's
Mm.
early access. There's the bones of the game are there, and the bones are really strong. Like there's a really good foundation. It just feels like there's some stuff that should be placed in that isn't there. The music, enemy placement, some rewards for trying to do interesting, unique things. And that might come later on. I'm not sure, but it isn't there in the first few hours of the game, which is again disappointing. I will finish it. I'm looking forward to playing through the rest of it to see what happens, but it's not quite hitting the way that I was hoping it would.
I just pulled up its Open Critic, and I was just skimming through the the summary reviews, and a lot of
Mm.
people are saying basically what you were saying about the exploration, stylish but devoid of things, safe, frictionless stuff like that. So I'll wait to see how you feel after you finish it.
Yeah.
Once again, thank you Devolver for shooting us over a code. Appreciate that. But hopefully it picks up. But I mean, it's not bad. It has like
No.
a 70 something. So
Yeah, it's a fine, good time.
all right, glad to hear it. Well, I'll get into what I've been playing, and it's a lot less than what you've been playing. So I rolled credits on As Dusk Falls. Beat this with the
Mm.
fiance on Saturday, I believe. We rolled credits. I will say, I think the game maybe goes on a little bit too long. Um, there are like, here's the thing that I'm wondering is depending on the path you choose, I think the game can actually end sooner.
Oh,
Just because like certain characters cannot be there, certain
sure.
like or in that situation, or that characters can be swapped in situations. So like I I I don't know how those play out because I just after I beat the game went through looked at the trophies. I was like, oh, that could happen there. Like that's like
Mm.
how could we have gotten that? Um, I also say I think the ending I got, which I think is the like good ending, if you want to say like there is a good, but like I don't again I don't know all the endings, but I think what we got was the good ending.
Sure.
Kind of ends on a cliffhanger,
Oh,
so it almost feels like they might be making it as Dusk Falls 2. I don't know if
as
this
night
one
falls.
maybe so like I don't know if they just were like, hey, we're gonna leave it here and the audience is just going to like assume things and that's the ending, or if they're actually going to make a sequel, because it just did feel like I almost expected there to be another one, and then I went and looked. I was like, "Is the game not done?" Because it's
Mm.
broken into part. Like it's like book one, book two, and then I was like, "Is book three still have to come?" Or but apparently that's just like no. It's either you interpret it or they're gonna make a sequel. So I liked it overall. I think that has a good acting, good narrative, decision making, impactful decision making. It's just the ending kind of let me down because I really would have preferred this to be a contained story, especially because I felt like it was already going on a bit too long. I felt like some of the threads kind of just like got resolved off screen. Like I popped the trophy and I won't say what it was for, but it just kind of said what happened. And I never saw that act. Like I saw someone like leave somewhere and then it told me like what happened in the trophy. I was like, what? You just expected me to infer that all this stuff happened off
Right.
screen. So very strange choices in some areas, but overall a good narrative choice game.
That's good to hear. As I said last week, it's on my dashboard, ready to go. So I will be jumping in probably over the next week or two.
Yeah, and again, short. I think 5 or 6 hours it took us to roll credits, so not a long game.
Nice.
The other game I've been playing, and I am a little over halfway done with this, about 10, 11 hours into it. I am mainlining for anyone that's interested because I want to experience the story. Yakuza 0.
Mm.
Now, I have Yakuza 0, Kiwami 1, and Kiwami 2. And I love the Like a Dragon, like Ichiban games. And I even like the Pirate Yakuza game that came out. Was it last year? Earlier this year? I like those enough. I can't remember when it came out. It's probably last year.
Oh,
But
look.
I love Ichiban. I love his stories. I love those games. So I was like, all right, I want to experience Kiryu's story. Like, I know some of it because he's in the Infinite Wealth, obviously, but I wanted to go get my groundwork. So I started with 0. I asked the community, I asked our community and other communities, like, where should I start? They all said 0. Rick Davis, I'm sorry. I know you told me Kiwami 1. You said don't listen to everyone else. I did go with the overwhelming majority. And I will say, for the first 7 hours of this game, which is probably up to chapter 6, I was bored out of my freaking mind, man.
Damn.
Holy crap. I was like, when does this game get good? Because, like, very little's happening. I'm kind of frustrated at some of the like gameplay loops it has me doing. Way too much like, oh, make sure to go pick this up from a convenience store. But like, not all the convenience stores have the same things. So I'm just like running around to every convenience store. Do you have it? Do you have it? Do you have it? Very annoying there. There's like forced slow walking in like the cabaret when you're like Majima, and I'm just like, this isn't hitting right now. Then I played a few more hours. Chapter 6 through 8, phenomenal. I'm like, this is what I was looking for. This is the Yakuza I came here for. We got drama, we got soap opera, storytelling. Like, this is what I was looking for. I'm in chapter 9 now. Excited to see where it goes from here. But like, I feel like the game started really slow, and that was a detriment. But right now, it's at a good spot. We'll see if it can nail the rest of the game or if it falls back into a lull and like there are a few good chapters, but I do want to beat Yakuza 0. And then Kiwami 1 and 2, I think, are combined as long as this one. But like this is a little pacing issues here. But overall, I'm gonna get through it.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Yakuza is one of those ones where it's just, I'm an admirer from the outside. You know, I look at it, I'm like, that looks sick. That looks really cool. But it's so daunting. And I should just follow your advice and just be like, where do I start? But I know that I know what I'm like. People know what I'm like. I'm going to be wanting 100% all these. I just don't have that time.
You'll lose your mind.
Yeah.
Especially because like I don't know how the older game ones are, but for the turn-based Ichiban ones, Infinite Wealth's a little easier to 100%, but Like a Dragon, I have every achievement except one, which requires you to beat the true final Millennium Tower, which doesn't mean anything to you, but essentially that's the final dungeon, and then you do it again, and it's harder, but then I think you do it again, and it's even hard. And it's like you need all your characters to be max level and all their jobs to be max level to like beat it. And that just requires way too much grinding to accomplish. So
no, thank you.
That's a no for me.
Nope.
Well, that is all I've been playing. Hopefully, I'll have Yakuza 0 wrapped up this week, especially with my time off. I'm looking forward to diving into that. Then maybe I'll take a break, or maybe I'll just dive into Kiwami 1. We'll find out. But why don't we jump into the news 30 minutes into the show? And we're going to start with my topic this week, and that is the Xbox Partner Preview. So this showcase happened earlier today, Thursday, as we are recording. It gave us look at 16 games coming next year or further, because some of these weren't dated. But why don't we, first of all, Sam, did you watch the show, and what were your overall impressions?
I did watch the show. I thought it was pretty good overall, better than I was expecting. I don't know that there was necessarily, not that I was expecting anything like major necessarily, but I think it did sort of meander a little bit, which I think these typically have done. Because it is just sort of they do those little graphics where they show these are the things we just showed you. Which are nice, and they have a nice bit of information, but kind of unnecessary. But yeah, I think overall, like the hitting average for the games that they showed that I would be interested in, uh, like well above 50%. So that's pretty good in my book.
Yeah, I'm kind of along the same lines. I see Nicholas Johnson, sorry, in the chat said overall I thought it was a good show and has something for everyone. Xbox seems to be really good catering to everyone. I would agree. I sat down not expecting much. I wasn't, I saw the chat being like, "Oh, show us what's the State of Decay 3." I'm like, everyone's a partner showcase. Like, you're not gonna get first party
Half-Life
games.
3.
Yeah, like calm down. So I went into it like not expecting all that much, and I gotta say, I was entertained the entire time. I thought there were some really good looking games here, and I walked away with some to add to my wish list. So like I can't complain about this showcase. I thought it was by and large really good. And I tend to feel this way about partner previews. I don't know if it was the last one they did, but like I remember walking away from the one where they revealed FBC Firebreak, and I was like, that show was, I think that was the same one they showed. No, it wasn't Ninja Guy. Ninja Guy 4 was a different one, but I walked away from all those, and I'm like, there's plenty here for me. Like, I think this was a good showcase. So
Yep.
why don't we jump into the actual games and we can talk about them, or we can move along if they don't interest either of us. But they started the show with a game called Armistice, coming 2026 to all platforms, and it's coming to Xbox Game Pass. I will note that all of these titles are Xbox Play Anywhere. They made that very apparent at the start and throughout the show. They're really pushing this Xbox Play Anywhere initiative. But Armistice, kind of a third-person roguelite, I want to say Returnal-esque game, if you will. What'd you think about this one?
I mean, you just said it, didn't you? You just mentioned Returnal, and you know how I feel about Returnal. So, yeah, I mean, weirdly, I saw, I guess, chat and comment sections will comment section, but I saw a lot of people going like, "Oh, this looks generic slop." And it's like, what are you talking about? This looks pretty damn good to me.
Mm-hmm.
This is a wishlist one for sure.
It looked like AA Returnal to me. If if we're saying Returnal's AAA, which I think it does clearly look more polished than this game, but I thought this had a cool, like the enemies looked very cool. I like their demonic design. The gameplay looked solid. My only issue was I couldn't stop seeing a hunter from Destiny as the main character.
Sure.
That was my only critique, but like I walked away like, am I going to play this? I don't know. This is one that I think is interesting. It is on Game Pass coming 2026, like I said. So maybe if I have Game Pass at that time, I'll jump in and try it out. But I don't know what people are complaining about with this one. I think it looks pretty good.
Yep, agreed.
Next, we got The Mound, and then I had something about Cthulhu was the subtitle. Coming summer 2026 to Xbox and PlayStation 5. This one didn't really do much for me personally. I don't know. I just couldn't get into what they were showing off for this one.
Yeah, I'm always intrigued when the premise of a game somehow involves Cthulhu and sort of Lovecraftian lore, like Sinking City and things like that. I was super interested in Call of Cthulhu, but I'm not sold yet. If they show like proper Cthulhu Lovecraftian stuff, I could be more in, but I'm very much on the fence currently.
I see Silkenet says it's from the Godfall people, right? Godfall gameplay was solid, just lacking content. I assume he's talking about Armistice from the Godfall people, which I can totally see, to be honest.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Let me see. I'll bring up developer Counterplay Games. Did they make Godfall? Yes, they made Godfall.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. To be fair,
that
did get a bit of a shock reaction from me, to be honest. But maybe they've learned.
Omen of Cthulhu is an upcoming first-person horror game. Yes,
okay.
Not for me, like I said, but it is coming in the summer. Next up, we got Dave the Diver is now available on Xbox, and they tease the In the Jungle DLC coming early 2026. This is how I learned Dave the Diver wasn't on Xbox.
Yep. Agreed. I was like, what? because it showed him with the ally.
Yeah,
I'm like, so is this just announcing that they've done like handheld support
that's
and
what I
it's
thought.
like now verified for the
Optimized, yeah,
device?
yeah.
But no, it's not on Xbox. I didn't know.
This game came out 2 years ago.
Yep.
I assumed it had come to Xbox. I guess like thinking back, I don't remember it ever like getting an announcement, but I guess I just assumed it did at some point because I was very taken aback by this one. I was like, I'm glad more people can experience what, by all accounts, is a fantastic game. But what are we what are we doing here? Two
Yeah.
years.
I mean, people should play David Diver. It's very good. I love it.
Next up, we got Crow Sworn. It's a Metroidvania, and I wanna use this for Hollow Knight like.
That's really
Coming,
stretching the
yeah,
word, isn't it?
yeah, coming 2026. This is also a Game Pass game. This will also be on all platforms. So I saw a lot of. I know Brandon in our Discord was excited for this one. When I was watching this, I go, they just reskinned Hollow Knight because this looks like movement animation, like it looks very much like Hollow Knight.
Yeah, I mean, I put in the Discord that like they have just straight up ripped like some backgrounds, environments, some like the spikes on the walls are straight up the spikes from Hollow Knight. When enemies do like the dive attack in boss fights and send out like the white shockwaves, that is literally Hollow Knight again. You know, bosses bouncing around, sending projectiles out, like that's Dung Lord and things like that from Hollow Knight. It's shameless. I will say, it looks very good.
Yeah, it does look. That's what I was
It
saying.
looks good. All that
People
being
are,
said,
people are gonna think, oh, they probably hate it. And I'm like, it looks like a quality Metroidvania, to be honest.
yeah, and it's got the style, but it is a shame that they have so shamelessly ripped off Hollow Knight. But if you're going to rip off something in the sort of Metroidvania roguelike kind of, not roguelike, Souls
Well,
likey kind of
didn't
area.
we saw one at the PlayStation show too, but that actually is a roguelite. But they had very much like clearly inspired by Hollow Knight. So I don't think this will be the last we see of these games.
No.
Next up, we got the next game coming from the Ravenlock developers with their unique voxel art style. It is a sequel to Echo Generation 2. It is coming to Game Pass. They have changed it, though. It's going to be like a turn-based card battler, Slay the Spire-esque game compared to the first Echo Generation. I liked Ravenlock. I know it was very simple. I like the voxel art style. I don't really like the cyberpunk-esque thing they got going on, and I don't know how I feel about them like drastically changing and leading into this card battling system, but hopefully it hits for people.
Yeah, it did nothing for me, unfortunately.
Next up, we got the sequel. Well, I'll call it a sequel, the follow-up game from Ponicle to Vampire Survivors, and it is called Vampire Crawlers. It's a first-person Vampire Survivors deck builder roguelite. It looked chaotic and kind of awesome.
Yep, I'm fully on board. Fully on board.
I tried telling this to I think it was Kyle and one of our friends here. I was like, "Oh, you guys want to play online Vampire Survivors? Like that could be fun, right? Like we're looking for games to play." And they both shot me down. Vampire Survivors is that good? I'm like, Vampire Survivors is great, yo. Like it's I just think it's so relaxing and like fun and picking to the power ups. Like there's just something about combining those power ups, becoming a god that really sit with me. And this looked like you could do that, like choose all the cards. They went to like stacks. So yeah, I'm here for it.
Yep, agreed.
Coming to all platforms and Game Pass as well. We get Kyle, it's boring. No. We got a 007 First Light trailer for his car. The most pointless thing at the showcase, probably. And can I just say, we all still pretending that anyone cares about this game? Are we all still pretending that this is a
they're
big
trying
game?
real hard.
I don't think anyone really cares about. Like
Yeah.
who? Show me them.
apparently they're out there.
Roadside Research coming early 2026, coming to Game Pass. This is like your aliens running a gas station. I wrote friend slop game ?
Yeah, I like the premise. I think that there's inherent comedy in the premise. Obviously, we've yet to really see what the gameplay is and how good that is. I don't have high hopes, but it could be in the sort of so bad it's good with friends territory, like you say. So I could be in, maybe.
Next up, we got an FPS horror game called Total Chaos, which is actually out now. It was shadow dropped. It is available on Game Pass. This one I thought pretty decent. I thought it showed really well. It had some creepy moments. It has the music from Akira Yokoyama, the Silent Hill music person. She did the Medium too, I believe, which I love that soundtrack. So they got some talent behind this game. I would describe this as body horror from what I like, gross, mutated,
Sure.
like people look like you're shooting them, but it is a first person survival game out now. Not something I'm like jumping to go play.
I've wish listed it on PS5. It reminded me a lot. I think the game is called Ill.
Yes.
There's another upcoming one that was very similar looking. I think this visually doesn't look as good, but I think that the gameplay that they showed maybe looked a little bit more compelling than what Ill has presented thus far. So I will be interested to see how similar those two games are at the end of the day. But yeah, I think this is going to be a backlog pickup on sale for sure.
Yeah, good shout. Good shout. A lot of people thought this was Ill when it was being revealed, so I can
Understandable.
see that. Reanimal got a new trailer. We talked about the demo at the start of the show. This is obviously from the Little Nightmares developers, and it's coming February 13th, 2026 to all platforms. I don't know why everyone is shoving their games into February. It is incredibly crowded right now, and I get it. People thought GTA 6 was coming in May. Got to get your games out, but at this point, like we need some delays. I think, like even just a few weeks. Like give your game breathing room. You will thank everyone for it.
They all know Half-Life 3 is coming in mid-March.
That's when the Steam machine's coming out mid-March. Half-Life 3.
That's
right. This next one's called Erosion. It's coming 2026 to early access. It's on Game Pass. And I just wrote WTF is this weird pixel game. You're like a cowboy. This was probably the worst thing I saw at the showcase. I could not care less about this game.
Yeah, I think if I remember, I read somewhere, I think that it's from the devs behind Last Case of Benedict Fox, if I'm not mistaken, which is a real left turn. I could be wrong, but if I'm right, then that's a real left turn from them. I'm not, again, I'm a broken record. I'm not sold, but I'm also not completely out. I probably need to see some like uncut gameplay running for a few minutes to get a good feel for it. But I like the aesthetic personally.
The description on Steam says your daughter's been kidnapped. Every death costs you a decade. Explore a roguelike open world where your actions reshape the timeline. Join a cult, steal a ride, gamble cheddar, collect 100 plus weapons and abilities, demolish destructible voxel dungeons. Can you save your daughter before time steals her away?
See, that sounds pretty sick.
And it is from the Last Case of Benedict Fox developers.
Then a real left turn from them. I mean, that, to be fair, that description has actually probably sold me on it. So
I think it's a cool premise. The game itself didn't sell me.
Sure.
Next up, my game of the show, new reveal of the show, I should say. My game of the show, Zoo Punk, coming from TI Games, which is the follow-up to Fist Forged in Shadow Torch, a Metroidvania, which I'm not a big Metroidvania guy, but I loved this one probably because you play as a rabbit. This is a prequel to Fist, and it is no longer a Metroidvania. It is a third-person action game, and man, I cannot wait to be a rabbit with swords hacking up some people. Man, I wish listing. I can't wait for this one.
You know, you can do that in Lies of P. Basically, you can
I
dress up
played
as Laura.
Lies of P. I beat Lies of P.
It's Lies. You didn't do that. You didn't do that. You don't finish those sort of games, Kev. We know this to be true.
I did.
Okay, if you say so. If you say so. But yes, I concur. I also thought that as basic and a little janky as Fist was, it was a really good time. And again, talking about left turns, obviously sort of staying within the universe that they've created, but into a different genre, which I wasn't expecting. I was sort of just expecting it to cut the gameplay and it be, Forged in Shadow part 2, and it isn't, and that's pretty sick. And it looked, again, better than I was expecting it to look, because not that Fist was like ugly, but it did have that sort of double A sheen to it. And this didn't look like top tier, but it looked pretty good. So I'm on board.
Yeah, no date on this one though, so I don't know if this is 2026. Like this could be 2027. It looked like, I don't want to say more than 2027. Like there's a chance it hits next year. It really, I think, just depends on if they can finish development and timelines, because they obviously showed gameplay, so it's not like this is, oh, we got a cinematic reveal trailer.
Sure.
Also, achievement free from the puppet string unlocked June 28th, 2025 at 6:59 p.m. So just
I mean,
saying.
you had plenty of time to Google that and just come up with a date and a time for the achievement.
Right.
So
yeah, sure. Next up, Clover Pit is also shadow dropped onto Xbox today. It is on Game Pass. They also announced the Unholy Fusion DLC is coming soon. Clover Pit, obviously, a roguelike game that kind of blew up over the summer, I think it was. Out now on Xbox. Glad to see it coming to more platforms.
Yeah, it's one that I have sort of skipped over because, similar to like Balatro, it doesn't. I get the appeal naturally, but like it just playing with cards and obviously in Clover Pit playing with a slot machine, it's like, yeah, that just doesn't do anything for me. So, but cool that it was a shadow drop.
Next up might be the most interesting, and I use that word loosely. Eminem is coming to Hitman: World of Assassination. Marshall has recruited Agent 47 to kill Slim Shady, his alter ego, coming December 1st, 2025. And they actually got Eminem to do the VO. It was pretty dope. Pretty dope. I don't care about Hitman, but pretty dope.
So you're going to be playing it then?
No.
Oh.
No. I think I have Hitman 2 or 3. Do I have Hitman 3? I have one of them. I tried them. I was like, this game sucks.
Anyone I've played is Blood Money. Blood Money is good, but
not for me. Next up, maybe the best trailer we saw here. New Tides of Annihilation gameplay trailer. You got to see some boss fight. I would describe this as, stay with me, Souls aesthetic, because this clearly isn't a Souls game based on what we saw in the gameplay, meets Final Fantasy. I think that's a good way to describe what we saw here.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And it looks awesome. I'm in for it.
I mean, yeah, there's no denying it looks very impressive. I am going to be a little bit reserved.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
In my hype for it, because it's sort of coming out of nowhere from a, as far as I'm concerned, unproven team. We saw very flashy things for games like, Lost Soul Aside and different kettle of fish. Hey, whatever floats your boat, that's fine. But I will be interested to see exactly how scripted that fight was and how much interaction you actually have. Because there were various segments of that that looked like it could very easily be a QTE.
Looked like a Final Fantasy 16 boss.
I don't know what you're talking about. All those are great. Um, so, and they aren't really QTE heavy, or well, some of them are, but whatever. I am on board. Don't get me wrong. I am just going in with cautious optimism.
Jennifer English is the voice actor. So game of the year next year. Mark it.
Hey, you heard it here first.
Yeah. So it would just be like Final Fantasy 16.
I will not take the slander. I will not allow it.
No date on that one, which is weird because everyone expects it next year, but
I don't think I do.
I'm a little. They were talking about it when it was after it was first revealed, and it sounded like I'm pretty sure like 2026 was the target. Since they didn't put that date on it, I'm a little like 2020, early 2027 might be a little more realistic, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think we could see it at some point before the middle of next year, and they're like late 2026, and then they push. I think that's probably most likely.
The last game at this show was Raji Kaliuga cinematic reveal trailer, the follow up to Raji, which I couldn't tell you. It was like an ancient epic, I think was the subtitle of that one. It's coming to Game Pass whenever it releases. We didn't see any gameplay. Very strange one to end the show on. Tides of Annihilation should have been the ender because this was just a lackluster final reveal.
Yeah, because like again, I might be completely out of the loop. I don't know that Raji had it like that
I
in
don't,
terms of like
I don't
hype
know anyone
and
that played it.
fandom and success. Exactly. Maybe it is, and maybe we are like completely in the dark on something that's super sick. But it felt like it was aiming to be like a mic drop thing. Like, oh my god, it's a Raji game, and I'm like, what's a Raji game?
It's got
I
2,000
agree that
views on Steam.
I agree that Tides of Annihilation would have been a far better mic drop, if you will. But maybe because Raji had next year, right? Sorry,
No date on it. I don't
no
think.
date either.
I didn't
Because that
write
was
any
going to be
date.
my
So.
logic of like maybe they wanted to end on something that had a thing for next year. But yeah, I mean, I liked that he had like Doctor Strange powers. That was kind of cool. But until I know what the game actually is, I can't really get super excited.
For sure. Well, that is the Xbox Partner Showcase. Good show overall. Looking forward to quite a few of those games. So, why don't we transition from my topic to talking about the Game Awards? Jeff Keighley revealed the nominees for all categories this last Monday. Sam, I did link to GameSpot because the Game Awards website is garbage. And I think this is probably an easier way to go through the categories and the nominees. I suggest starting at the bottom and then
I am
going
at the
up.
bottom.
Yeah, we can skip the esports and content garbage if you would like.
Indeed. So let's see. Most anticipated game nominees are 007 First Light, GTA 6, Marvel's Wolverine, Resident Evil Requiem, and The Witcher 4. Who do you think's going to win, Kev?
Obviously, GTA is going to win.
Yeah, obviously.
But which of these is your most anticipated out of these? Because I would go Wolverine.
Yeah, I think so. I think if I knew that The Witcher 4 was coming next year, I think that could rival it. But I just don't believe there is any world that The Witcher 4 is even close to next year.
That I have no idea why it's in this category because there's no chance.
So yeah, I think Wolverine clears pretty easily for me. I'm expecting great things from Requiem. Don't get me wrong, but Come on.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah. Next up, best multiplayer. Arc Raiders, Battlefield 6, Elden Ring, Night Rain, Peak, and Split Fiction. I mean, Arc Raiders has this, right?
Yeah, so like when I'm voting, like if it's me, I'm like my favorite multiplayer experience I've had this year is either Peak or Split Fiction.
Mm.
But I think Arc Raiders overall, as a general consensus, has to take this just because of how like huge it's blown up.
Yeah, I think Battlefield 6 has a chance.
I feel like Arc Raiders came in and ate its lunch,
It certainly
unfortunately.
did, but I wonder, rightly or wrongly, whether the whole sort of AI thing around Arc Raiders is going to dissuade some of the jury from
I
voting for it.
don't.
I don't know, but I'm just saying, maybe. But if I was voting, I would obviously give it to Peak because it was Peak.
It's a blast, yeah.
Best sports racing: EA Sports FC 26, F1 25, Mario Kart World Rematch, and Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. I don't have a car in this race.
I think definitely not EA FC, even though it won last year, which is absurd. This category is one of those where I'm like, the critics don't really play these games. So they're probably just gonna pick like one that's popular. I hope Rematch did enough
Yeah.
to get it, because like I think it was like a good game. I think it had a moment where people were playing it. It's kind of fallen off. I think Mario Kart World disappointed a lot of people. Sonic Racing is really good from what I hear. I do want to play it eventually. I just don't know if a lot of the industry is down with Sonic like that. So I'm rooting for Rematch.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, obviously, I stand slow clap in general. I I hope, obviously, again, I don't have a horse in the race, but I hope that Mario Kart doesn't win it just because it's Mario Kart.
Yeah, it doesn't deserve it this year.
Yeah, I think that I'd rather see Sonic take it, or Rematch. Best sim strategy, we've got The Alters, Final Fantasy Tactics, The Ivalice Chronicles, Jurassic World Evolution 3, Sid Meier's Civ 7, Tempest Rising, and 2 Point Museum. I think Civ probably takes it, but
Really?
I would like to see The Alters.
I don't think Civ wasn't received well this year. So I'm thinking like I have a problem with this category in general because we really shouldn't lump these two things together. They're very distinct genres personally.
Mhm.
Um for me, I think Final Fantasy Tactics
Okay.
just yeah, I haven't played it yet, but it is one of the best tactical RPGs ever made, and it's got a great remaster. But I would also kind of like to see the alters. I know you reviewed it, you liked it.
Mhm.
Um, and general consensus is it's a really unique game doing
Yeah.
some things.
I think the uniqueness is probably gonna work in its favor. I would hope to see that it wins. Best family game: Donkey Kong Bonanza, Lego Party, Lego Voyages, Mario Kart World, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, and Split Fiction.
I don't know how Donkey Kong Bonanza is a family game. Like it's a single player
It's
game.
because it's Nintendo,
It
you
was a
know.
single player game. Like
It's just it's
I
how it
love
works.
Donkey Kong Bonanza. Don't get me wrong, one of my favorite games of the year. But like, not low Lego Voyagers. Again, I don't think Mario Kart World deserves it. I'm okay if Lego Party wins it because I think Lego Party came out and is that vibe that you're looking for with a family game, but also like Sonic or I love Split Fiction, but it is limited in how many you can play that with. So I'm rooting for Lego Party, to be honest.
Sure, why not? I mean, with Donkey Kong, you can play with a second player playing Carol or whatever her name is on Donkey Kong's background.
Her name's Pauline.
Oh, sorry.
You're right there. I'll tell you your tongue.
Yeah, nearly there, nearly there.
Yeah.
You can tell I played these
She
games.
doesn't even you can, play is a very loose term if you're considering that gameplay and what you could do.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I'd like to see an upset of something like Lego Party taking it though. I think that would be cool. If not, then maybe give it to Split Fiction so that Split Fiction wins something.
Split.
Because I'd like to see it get an award.
Me too.
Best fighting game: 2XKO, Capcom Fighting Collection 2, Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, and Virtua Fighter 5 Revo World Stage. I mean, I don't care about fighting games, but I know that many people are not happy with this list because they just haven't. It's not been a great year for fighting games.
I'm not happy with this list.
Yeah.
To be fair, I'm not happy with the fighting game category most years, especially when they put Sifu in the category that one year. That was.
I mean, that should have won that year.
That was absurd. No, it's been a pretty poor year for fighting games. The Mortal Kombat Legacy, this list screams to me. We Googled what fighting games came out this year, and that's who we voted for. Yep. Because 2XKO is in early access. It's good by all accounts, but it is early access. Capcom Fighting Collection, nobody cared about. Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection is broken. It had such bad input lag that like PlayStation was offered refunds. Virtua Fighter 5 Revo is a remaster essentially and came and went. I'm voting for Fatal Fury because it's the only technically new fighting game, but again, no one cared about it.
Yeah, I'm going with what Maximilian Dude voted for, and he also said Fatal Fury, so that's my vote.
Hell yeah.
Best RPG. We have Avowed, Clair Obscure Expedition 33, Kingdom Come, Deliverance 2, The Outer Worlds 2, and Monster Hunter Wilds.
It's a disgrace that Monster Hunter Wilds is in this category. I know it sold well, but disappointing. This is going to shock people. Okay. What I'm about to say.
I'm ready.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is the best RPG this year.
I would also say that is correct.
If we are going off role playing, do I think it's the best game in this list? No. Like in terms of what I like to play, but there is no game that gives you the level of role playing that Kingdom Come Deliverance gives you. And I think it deserves this category.
Yeah. And jumping the shark slightly, I don't know that it's going to win a lot of the other awards that it's up for. So I think that this one is where it's nailed down and actually has the most compelling argument to back it up. So best action adventure game: Death Stranding 2, On the Beach, Ghost of Yotei, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Hollow Knight Silksong, and Split Fiction. What are you thinking?
I think action adventure is way too broad of a category. Because you got a platformer in here, you got a Metroidvania in here. Like I will say, I'm glad to see. Oh yeah, Kyle brings up. Hold on one second. We need to. Why not just rename this best Western RPG? If we're going back a minute. Trails in the Sky first chapter is one of the best reviewed games of the year, sitting at a 91, and it does not make the best RPG category. Criminal.
What are you suggesting, that something like Avowed should have been replaced?
Avowed has no right to be in this list. Back to the topic at hand, though. Best action adventure game. I'm glad to see Indiana Jones wasn't forgotten.
Sure.
Considering it came out in December last year. If I have to pick what game out of this list I like the best, is Split Fiction. Easily, hands down. What game do I think is going to win, which is what we're doing? Death Stranding 2.
Yeah. I call me a glazer. I think it is between Yotei and Death Stranding 2. I would imagine it's Death Stranding 2. The only reason I think that maybe Yotei squeezes it is that it isn't up for many other things. So maybe it gets the nod. But I think that if I had to pick,
I don't know if critics vote like that, actually. Like
I know, I know, I know. But if there are people out there that like giving people flowers where they can,
I think Death Stranding 2, just for I again haven't played it, haven't played Yote either, but from what I understand, I think Death Stranding 2 was a bigger splash than
oh,
Yote
for
was in
sure,
terms of like in terms of improving upon what came before it.
yeah. And it's just a better game in general. They're both great, but Death Stranding 2 is certainly better. Best action game, we have Battlefield 6, Doom the Dark Ages, Hades 2, Ninja Gaiden 4, and Shinobi Art of Vengeance.
Great category.
It is very strong. I'm going to say Hades 2.
Okay. This one really comes like I liked Doom, okay, but it is not as good as Eternal.
Yeah.
I think Eternal is by far a better Doom game than Dark Ages. I really liked Ninja Gaiden 4. I don't think it's as good as even Ninja Gaiden 2 Black was when it came out. My vote for this category is Shinobi Art of Vengeance. I don't think it's going to win. That is very disappointing because I think it's genuinely one of the best games of the year.
I've heard other people echo those same sentiments.
It is the art style, the music, the level design, the mini Metroidvania that you have in each level, the boss fights. Like this game is really special, and I don't think it gets the flowers it deserves. I've seen a lot of people kind of dismiss it even being in this category. Like they go, "Oh, only 3,000 player peak on like." Shut up. Player
Yep.
peak is not the only defining factor in what makes a game great. And Shinobi is a great game. It reviewed really well. Unfortunately, it didn't meet sales expectations according to Sega, which sucks because I don't know if we'll get a follow up. But I would vote Shinobi if I had to. What I think is going to take it, either Ninja Gaiden or Hades.
Yep. Agreed. Best VR AR game. Alien Rogue Incursion, Arcane Age, Ghost Town, Marvel's Deadpool VR, and The Midnight Walk. If The Midnight Walk doesn't win, we riot.
I don't. I play real games, y'all. It's The Midnight Walk, though, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know what any of these other ones are. I mean, I know what Deadpool is, but like, it's fine from what I hear.
Yeah. I mean, none of these, it's certainly not the strongest VR lineup that we've had, but
It's probably the most sevens in a category.
yeah. But I think of them all, The Midnight Walk certainly has the most resonance, made the biggest splash, seemed to be received the best, not necessarily reviewed super well. None of these did, but Midnight Walk, I would definitely be voting for. Best mobile game: Destiny Rising, Persona 5, The Phantom X, Sonic Rumble. You love that one, Kev. Pretty Derby, and Wuthering Waves.
It is embarrassing that Sonic Rumble is on this list. Like,
Yeah.
genuinely, the industry should be ashamed that they put this up for nomination. A horrible game. Persona 5 the Phantom X apparently is also not very good. It's got to be the Pretty Derby, the horse girl game, right? Like that was the biggest moment for mobile gaming.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree. I do think it's a toss up between that and Destiny Rising. I know like people love to dunk on Destiny currently, but Rising, from all I heard, was that yeah, it's better than it has any right to be. I don't know that it had like massive splash, but maybe. But I think that the Umamusumi certainly seemed to be talked about the most this year. So probably that. Best debut indie game. There's a shake-up in this one. It was Blueprints, Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Despelote, Dispatch, and Megabonk. Megabonk was obviously withdrawn at the developer's request. So it's just Blueprints, Expedition 33, Despelote, and Dispatch. Unlikely that fifth slot is going to be refilled with anything. So
yeah, I've been pretty vocal about not understanding why Megabonk withdrew. And I'll say it here, but his whole argument was I've made games under a different name, so it doesn't count. And my argument is, how is that any different than, say, when a bunch of Rare developers left and made Platonic and then put out Ukulele? Like, that's not their first game. That's our first game under that studio. So if he rebranded to a new studio, I still think that's like people say, "Oh, it's a solo dev," and I said, "Well, we're being semantic, like being a little pedantic there. I think personally, like splitting hairs. Like if a whole team is together at one location, then moves to a new location and just changes their name, that's not their first game. Putting it, you know what I'm saying?
sure. I guess the award in itself could be viewed as semantical in the sense of like this is the first game that this studio is presenting to you, regardless of their lineage. And I know that isn't necessarily ideal either, but
That's how I interpret the award, though. Yeah,
yeah.
but not my choice.
I hope Blueprints wins. I know Dispatch has probably also got a really strong shot here. I think everything except Despelote is as great as Despelote seems to be. Obviously, it's not going to win. But I think the three remaining actually all stand a fair chance. I think that, odds on it's going to be Clair Obscure, but the other two, I think it's not like this isn't a foregone conclusion in my opinion.
So this brings in Silkenet, who wrote in with the ability, if you're a patron, you can write into our weekly topic submission thread, and all two submissions this week were about the Game Awards, so we're throwing them in. And he wrote and said, "Elephant in the room, what is your own definition of indie game? The more indies get noticed, the more people will clash over its meaning. I don't think we'll ever reach a standardized definition, but I feel it's important to make clear where we stand and understand other points of view without doing bashing reaction videos." Cough, Asmongold, cough. Yeah, that was certainly. Here's what I will say. By definition, indie just means independent studio. It means you are not owned by a publisher. You are not owned by another entity. So when people are saying, "Oh, well, Expedition 33 costs too much. Expedition 33 had voice act," like none of those things disqualifies it from being an indie game, in my opinion. Now, does that make it fair to solo developers, 3-people teams working on $50,000 versus millions, right? No. This is where I think we need some sort of designation in these award shows to really split up those kind of games. But I don't know how we do that without creating a whole new term to describe those things, as it maybe best unpublished game or games without a publisher or something like that. Sure. To encapture those games. Because if we're being honest, I think Expedition 33, if people are looking at themselves and saying, what's the best game in this category, and we're acknowledging all of these are indie games, I think Clair Obscur wins.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with your definition. And I think that the Game Awards itself says that outside of the traditional publisher system, and people say, oh, well, Sandfall had Kepler, but then Kepler is this like co-op thing,
which we
right?
learned on this show. Yes.
Exactly. Not a traditional publisher. So that's how they sort of get around that definition.
But even so where it gets tricky though, right? Because like Devolver, Annapurna, PlayStack, those are indie published. Like they go out and they want to publish indie games.
Yeah.
So like the whole definition has been screwed for a long time because some people are like, oh, budget, vibes, pixel art, like that's an indie game. I'm like, it's not. It's not true, unfortunately. Like that's not the actual definition of an indie game.
Yeah. Like Inner Sloth, I would count as an indie
They have
publisher.
so much money now, though.
I
Like
know, I know,
they have their own
I know.
publishing arm, Outer Sloth.
But something like Private Division, obviously, I wouldn't. I mean, I don't think that they're around anymore. But when they were owned by Take
RIP,
Two,
yeah.
I obviously wouldn't count that because they're owned by Take Two, even though they publish a lot of indie type games back in the day. So yeah, it's a whole mess, and I agree that it's preferable that it be solved, but I also think that by attempting to solve it, you probably open up more cans of worms than you close.
Mm.
And you'd probably then have to like caveat several of the awards and have offshoots just so that you encapsulate all of the variations of things.
Yeah, it goes into my issues with the other categories. Like sim strategy should be split
Exactly.
up. Like
Exactly.
action adventure, we should have a platform category. We should have a Metroidvania. Like if we're getting that specific,
Precisely.
we'll be here for 6 hours handing out awards.
Yeah. So I understand why they do it. It's kind of a lose-lose situation. You can't please everyone. So yeah, I think they try to make the best out of a bad hand. But I think Expedition 33 is probably still going to win this. But I would love to see Blueprints take it.
I'd love to see Dispatch even. Like I'm okay if it like
Yeah, I'm fine with any of them.
I think Expedition 33 is going to sweep personally, but
Yeah.
I'm okay if they don't win best debut indie game.
Mm-hmm. Best independent game, we have Absalom, Ball Expert, Blueprints, Expedition 33, Hades 2, and Silk Song. That's a banger category.
Yeah, it is.
But Expedition 33 probably takes it.
Yeah, might as well keep them up on stage, right? If you're doing back to back, just to give them both awards.
Yeah. I think it's just one of those years where it's just gonna keep happening, unfortunately. Best community support: Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, and No Man's Sky.
It's the usual suspects, right?
I think No Man's Sky probably, because they still like I've heard basically nothing from any of the other four. I mean, I know Fortnite does updates and stuff, but they haven't won this award in quite a while, I think.
I was actually going to vote Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh.
Because didn't they just put out like a giant patch this year? Like, changed a lot of things. I may be misremembering, but I thought that
You
happened.
may well be right. I'm out of that sphere, so potentially.
Definitely
Whoever
not
wins,
Final Fantasy.
good for them. Helldivers 2, I don't expect to be with a chance either. So, best ongoing game: Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, Marvel Rivals, and No Man's Sky. I think Rivals takes this pretty easily.
I don't like any of these games, but I'm rooting for Helldivers.
I'd love to see it, but I'm not confident that comparative to two Rivals, for example, who've just put out like a bunch of new heroes. They've
They
added
made
new
Gambit a
game modes.
healer.
Hey, I'm not saying they're doing it well, but they're doing it. They're doing it.
Gotta love when games that only get one update a year are considered ongoing or live service games. Facts.
Mm-hmm.
The ongoing and community support categories, I think they're ones again. I don't think the industry really is involved in live service game, like the actual live service games. Otherwise, we'd have things like Genshin Impact here, right? Like,
Sure.
yeah.
Games for Impact. We have Consume Me, Despelote, Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, South of Midnight, and Wonder Stop. As much as I didn't love it, I would like to see Wonder Stop win here. just because of like, if you're talking about games having messages, I know all of these technically have messages to them, but Wonderstop has a like really, really potent message, and it delivers it in a very, very unique way. So I'd love to see it get recognition, even though I wasn't a massive fan personally.
Um, the only game I've played here, so the only game I can vote for is South of Midnight, ending generational trauma. Uh,
Hmm.
but I don't know who could take. Like, I don't know much about Lost Records or Consume Me or Despolote. Like, I'm fine with whoever wins.
Yeah, I don't think there's a clear front runner in this category at all. So up for anyone. Innovation in accessibility. Speaking of for everyone, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Adamfall, Doom: The Dark Ages, EA Sports FC 26, and South of Midnight. I don't have a horse in this race. I think, though, from what I've been hearing, Doom probably
Yeah,
has this.
I voted Doom when I put my my ballot in, because I think Doom had fantastic accessibility options. I mean, South of Midnight had, you could skip combat, or like they had a bunch of stuff, but like Doom was
That's more like community
so,
service. Let you skip combat in
yeah.
South of Midnight.
Doom was so minute with what you could do, the sliders and stuff. I really think that they excelled in this area.
Yeah. It's weird because typically this is not something that they dominate, but PlayStation is always typically present in this category, and they're not this year, which is interesting. Um, Goes to show that I guess Death Stranding 2 and Ghost didn't really have all that much, which I guess makes sense in hindsight. Next up, we have the Expedition 33 category, Best Performance. We have Ben Starr, Charlie Cox, Erika Ishii, Jennifer English, Kanatsu Kato, and Troy Baker.
Yeah, so obviously Ben Starr for Verso and Expedition 33, Charlie Cox for Gustav and
Yes,
Expedition 33, Erika Ishii for
Yote,
yeah, Ghost of
Jennifer
Yote
English, Mael
for
in
Mael.
Expedition, Kanatsu
Konatsu
Kato from
Kato, I believe, is the Japanese voice actor
from
of,
Silent Hill F,
yeah, and then
and
Troy
obviously
Baker
Troy Baker,
for
Indiana.
Indiana Jones.
I mean, it's Jennifer English, right?
Uh, yeah, so we have a another write-in from Soak, and it says, staying on the Game Awards topic and slam dunk predictions, I can see two categories where Expedition 33 could have a hard time. Performance. Having three of them dilutes the vote for the game, and Troy Baker's indie, in my opinion, is just a cut above. An RPG, depending on why it's a good RPG, because Kingdom Come delivers to us better, more open role play mechanics. We agreed with him on RPG. I will say, I understand the point, that I do think having three nominees for Expedition 33 was a bit of a surprise for me. I loved Troy Baker's indie. I just think it was so long ago that I don't know how many people are like gonna really vote for it, especially with Expedition 33. I think Charlie Cox here is for name recognition. I don't
Yeah.
think he wins. So really, it's between Ben Starr and Jennifer English, and I wonder how people will vote on this. If you know, you know. That's all I'm gonna say. My vote for Jennifer English. I really do think she deserves it. I think she was. Not that I don't love Ben Starr's performance, because he's phenomenal in most things. I
Mhm.
just really think Jennifer English was a cut above this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I will admit I will be disappointed if it doesn't go to her. So,
Well, it's like
wishing her all the
last
best.
year when what's her name? Milena for
Melanie Jurgens, yeah.
for Senua, and that was the only category. I was like, she better win. I'm not accepting anything else, and then she did. But also 2023 when Charlotte McBurney deserved it, and then they gave it to the Kratos. You know,
Mhm.
what are we talking about? Robbery. Oof. Ugh.
So what do you
No, I love
don't judge him.
no, but Charlotte McBurney did deserve it.
Okay, if you say so, if you say so. Hey, we both love that game.
Yeah.
Both love that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a murderer's row. Like, everybody did an excellent job here, but I do think Jennifer English stole the show in Expedition. So, best audio design: Battlefield 6, Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, and Silent Hill F. Um, I I think it's between Death Stranding and Silent Hill, personally.
I'm trying this category is hard because I haven't played anything except Expedition 33, where I think we'll get to the next category. I think they clearly win. Audio design, like obviously a lot of the parries were based on audio cues and they had nice ambiance when you're like in the world, but I don't know if that's like best audio design, especially when you have some of these other games and just by way of what their gameplay is, you probably have a more audio based experience. So I can only vote Expedition 33 for me, but in terms of the other ones, like Battlefield 6, I hear is really good with audio.
Yeah, yeah. I'd be fine with any of them, really. I I don't know that Yotei deserves it necessarily. I don't think it did anything crazy with audio that I remember, but anything else, I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
Best score in music: Silk Song, Hades 2, Expedition 33, Yotei, and Death Stranding 2. I would love, 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 love,
I knew
love
you were gonna say this.
for Death Stranding 2 to win,
Yep, yep.
but it's
But
obviously not going to. Because the thing that is going to win, this is the most lock, besides one other one maybe, it's obviously Expedition.
it's 1,000% Expedition 33. I don't think a soundtrack has really blown up the like people obviously like soundtracks, they like music, but the way this game has been talked about for its music has really just been another like most people would not go look up the audio on Spotify and listen to it for soundtracks, but this game is just so good.
Yep.
And I just think about the one boss fight, and you know what I'm talking about. I believe the song is called "We Lost."
Mm-hmm.
In case anybody's curious, but you want an audio experience, just go listen to that.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Got
Yeah,
it. Got it.
they're gonna
Pre-ordered
win.
on vinyl. I'm going to be playing it on repeat.
They're gonna win for sure.
Yep. Best art direction: Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, Hades 2, and Hollow Knight: Silk Song. Um, this is tougher than people might think.
I'm voting Hades too. None of these,
Um,
none of like Death Stranding 2 art design is like, okay, it looks like Death Stranding. Ghost of Yotei looks like Ghost of Tsushima. Hollow Knight looks like Hollow Knight. I mean, Hades 2 looks like Hades 2, but I think like, or Hades, but I think like just in general, it's probably my favorite art style out of these. Not to say I don't love Expedition 33, but in terms of everything I'm talking about for Expedition 33, I don't know if I'm like, oh man, and the art style is so beautiful. Like, it's a gorgeous game, but I'm never like the art style. That's very different than graphics and like, you know, like uh, any of these could take it, I guess. But it's for me, it's Hades or Expedition.
you know, I'm going to throw a spanner in the works. I think Yotei takes this.
I I don't know about that, but
We'll see. Best narrative: Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and Silent Hill F.
I'm really surprised about all this. How many Silent Hill F nominations there were? I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that I've heard continually praised is how good the story
Yeah.
was in conjunction with the performance. So checks out. I mean, it's not going to be Yotei. I like the story in Yotei, but it's obviously
We
not
all know
anywhere
what it's
close
gonna
to.
be. Claire Expedition 33, come to the front of the congregation.
Yes, it's going to be Expedition 33. Best adaptation: a Minecraft movie, Devil May Cry, The Last of Us Season 2, Splinter Cell Death Watch, and Until Dawn. Whew, what a category. It's Minecraft, right?
I was gonna vote Devil May Cry.
Oh, interesting. You don't think they're going to take the chance to have a chicken jockey moment on stage?
I'm sure Minecraft will win because I think it was the most popular of any of these.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Devil May Cry, if we're actually like talking in terms of quality, probably deserves to win here. Again, I think it's offensive to not only me but everyone else voting that Until Dawn is in this category. Best adaptation, as someone that watched Until Dawn not 2 months ago, hot garbage. Nothing to do with the game. Just a horrible, horrible film.
Yeah.
And The Last of Us Season 2 started well, but then after episode 2, it just went down the gutter. It was very bad.
He left a lot to be desired, certainly. You know, I see Kyle mentioning Twisted Metal. Also, wait, hang on. That might have been no, it wasn't, right?
Twisted Metal Season 2 came out this year.
I was about to say Sonic 3, but that was the end of last year.
No,
so.
Sonic 3 should be in this category because it came out in December.
Oh, that's
If
right.
Indiana Jones is eligible, so Sonic 3. And everyone forgot because that is undoubtedly the best adaptation.
Well, there we go. It's rigged. It's rigged, everyone.
Facts.
Best game direction. Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, Hades 2, and Split Fiction. I think Death Stranding 2 has a shot, but the front runner is, again, Expedition 33.
It is. My personal opinion is Split Fiction. And I say that I think Split Fiction set out to do something unique and it nailed it. And I still think the last level, especially of Split Fiction, is something that will stick with me for years and years. It is something you have never seen done in a video game. It is creative. Like, I just think in terms of game direction, Split Fiction really nailed in the execution. And people can have critiques with the story. They don't like Mio or Zoe, right? But like gameplay is phenomenal. And what they do with the co-op and dual screen and what they accomplish is genuinely very unique. So I would vote Split Fiction. I think it's going to be Claire, but
yeah, I would vote Death Stranding, but it's going to be Claire. And then the big kahuna, everyone. Game of the Year, Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Hades 2, Silk Song, and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
It's weird
and
that
that's
Donkey
the show,
Kong.
everyone.
It's weird that Donkey Kong's in this category with one nomination for Best Family Game. And I say that loving Donkey Kong.
Yeah, it is peculiar because you'd think, like, it's weird, and I'm not saying that it necessarily deserves to be here either, but Ghost of Yotei is kind of the inverse of this, where like there's lots of nominations for Ghost of Yotei in other categories, but
Silent
it's
Hill
not here.
F2, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah, and then Donkey Kong doesn't have anything, and then it's here.
Yeah, if these 6 nominees were based on who got who appeared the most in other categories, you'd have like Yotei, Split Fiction, and Silent Hill F as like the running to replace Donkey Kong, right?
Yeah,
because but that's not how it goes. I love Donkey Kong. It has no shot at winning Game of the Year. I want everyone to know that.
maybe it's another, from last year.
Nope.
You're gonna flip out Astrobot upset. It could be like, how did Bonanza win?
Game of the Year is Expedition 33. There is no other option. I'll honestly be surprised if it wins less than what we like. It's probably going to win more than what we gave it credit for here. But Sam Hall wrote in, just like you can on our Patreon, said if Claire Obscur wins Game of the Year, Do you think it will also win Best Indie and Best Debut Indie, or do you think indie has a specific connotation, which lends itself to smaller, more niche? We already talked about the indie question, Sam, but do you think if Expedition 33 wins this category, the other one, like we kind of already talked about the other ones, I'm pretty sure Claire Obscure is going to win all three.
Yeah, I don't know that winning one would preclude it from winning the others. I think it would likely just reinforce it that if we see Claire sweep the indie categories, then it just is like, well, okay, it's kind of a foregone conclusion then that even more so than it already is, that it's going to win Game of the Year. In the same way, and I know it's not one to one, but last year is the most relevant comparison. Like Astro won Best Family Game and things like that, and then it won Game of the Year. I've said a couple of times as we've gone through the list of like maybe they sort of divvy it out a little bit, but like you said, that's not really how this works.
Yeah.
So
this has the potential to be the most like Claire
the
Expedition
most
33.
sweep of all sweeps.
Well, for real though, Expedition 33 has more nominations than any other game in Game Awards history. I doubt it wins all 14 of them. I think it is, but I think it wins a large majority of them. That so much so we'll probably be tired of hearing Expedition 33. Like I won't, because I love the game and I think it deserves it. But I think most people will really be relying on trailers and reveals to get them through this award show after Expedition 33's 10th acceptance speech or whatever.
Yeah, it would be really cool if there was. I'm not saying that this necessarily is great, but it would be cool just in terms of allowing other games to be recognized. If there was something that didn't necessarily preclude, but maybe diminish the likelihood of winning in specific categories, and it would balance itself out. But then that's inauthentic. So that's just how it goes. If there is a game that rises above the rest, then that's the one that deserves to win, and that is certainly Expedition 33. So
yeah, I said it. I think I've said it for a while now. Like it's the only game that has stayed in the zeitgeist through the entire year, and it has the gameplay, it has the audio, it has the music, it has the acting, it has the narrative. Like it has everything that people love in a game of the year. And I know there was that whole I think Shroud said it, where it's like, oh, multiplayer gamers need to rise up, right? And it's like, I understand your point, I guess, but like these really are they're supposed to be the equivalent of the Oscars, right? And multiplayer games, and I mean this with no disrespect, okay? Multiplayer games are not like I'm trying to think, what are the equivalent to in the movie industry, right?
like Fast and Furious.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't go to a Fast and Now You See Me, Now You Don't. I just went and saw it this last week. I thought it was hilarious. I had a blast. Really good movie, in my opinion. That's a multiplayer game, like the equivalent. That's not a game that's going to get awards for acting and direction, and because that's just not what these awards are for. Now, is that fair to multiplayer gamers? Maybe not, but I don't like that's not what the awards are for. The awards are for, we value these as art, and multiplayer games are for fun, less for art, I think, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah. And, obviously there is the example of Overwatch winning Game of the Year. Now, whether you agree with that or whatever, like it's possible, it's not like saying that it's impossible. But I think that going back to when Overwatch won in 2016 to now, as much as multiplayer games have only grown in relevance, I think that the optics of them are very different. They were a far smaller part of the overall market and zeitgeist and consciousness of players back then. So Overwatch winning kind of made more sense, whereas Arc Raiders, as good as as great as it might be, is like the 17th extraction shooter this month, So I think that's where it
I
then
also, yeah, sorry. I also think the industry, like critically, has doubled down on really valuing narrative
Mhm.
since Overwatch came out. Like you look at things like The Last of Us Part 2, right? Red Dead Redemption 2, God of War. Like you I feel like we've really drove home these cinematic movie narrative-esque experiences as these are the pinnacle of this art form. So that's why the Game Awards are where they are, as opposed to there's a whole nother timeline where we say Overwatch is the peak of gaming, and then everyone just starts making those kinds of games, right?
Yeah. And, again, whether people agree with it or not, um, there is also something to be said of, since what, 2021, with the exception of Elden Ring, I guess, in 22, the game of the year has gone to not necessarily the massive big blockbusters. It's gone
That's
to
true.
the interesting games, the
It
unique
Takes
games. It,
Two,
it takes two.
Astrobot.
Baldur's Gate 3, as big as that game is, it's a relatively niche thing that obviously exploded and got super successful and popular and whatnot, but isn't like cutting edge graphics, high fidelity, third person action adventure stuff. And Expedition 33 would follow that trend. Like, I think of when Expedition 33 is going to win Game of the Year. Like, I look back on Sven last year talking about, Game of the Year before Astrobot got announced, and saying like the winner of Game of the Year, it's going to come from a team that, loved what they were doing, was doing it for
Mhm.
the right reasons, yada yada yada. And I think that was true for Astrobot. I think that's true because obviously Asobi are very passionate and they are different to what PlayStation usually do. They made it from their heart, and you can tell. And that's like even more the case this year. So I think that as much as the jury shouldn't be weighing those things up when they are considering objective quality and what should and shouldn't win these categories, especially Game of the Year, if you're wanting to continue to send a message to the industry, I think that supporting not only the game that deserves it with Expedition 33, but it's also a little bit lucky, I guess, that Expedition 33, as excellent as it is also a shining beacon of look at the success that you can have without the trend chasing,
Mhm.
without the having to blow hundreds of millions of dollars on budgets. I think that that is another reassuring thing that further reinforces, in my opinion, why Expedition 33 should win and will.
Yeah, it's just had again, like, have you seen Skill Up's documentary on it?
Yeah.
Like every
It's the
interview.
perfect
Yeah,
storm,
it really
really.
is though. Like the way this game came together, the background to it only kind of exemplify or like enhances the its image in my view personally. Like
It
once you
it
know
sounds
all that.
it sounds cheesy, but
No, it
it's
does.
almost
It
like it's
does.
a
It sounds like we're
miracle,
we're
you know?
glazing it a little too hard. And listen, all right, I'm fine with that. All right, if you don't have to like Expedition 33 nearly as much as I do. I know Rick Davis in our community does definitely not like it nearly as much as I do, or as most people do. But like, I do feel like since it was announced for all these categories, I've seen a rise in the people kind of trying to diminish the game and saying like, "Oh, the fan base is so annoying." Where I'm like, "Well, I'm seeing more people crapping on it than I am these annoying fans." So this happens every year. My
Of
game didn't get
course.
nominated means I have to crap on the other games as
Why
opposed to.
didn't Black Myth Wukong win last
Oh
year?
my god!
Wee,
Didn't even.
wee.
You're lucky it was even nominated, dog.
Yeah.
Freaking 80.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. Congrats. We'll be live reacting on December 11th to the Game Awards. Myself, Sam, and I will open the invite to any other former Save the Game media members who want to join us for that extravaganza. But I think that will do it for this episode. So, Sam, do you want to let people know where they can find you, my friend?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I'm joking, of course. People can find me anywhere and everywhere at Sam Heaney, Heaney.
And you can direct all your Expedition 33 hate to me at the Muffin Mon. It's a 1 to 7 I-O instead of an A. Follow us at Save the Game Media over on Blue Sky. Stay updated with all of our latest content. Until next time, we will see you. Goodbye.